What we have here is the Chinese character, and it's pronounced as bonsai in Japanese. Okay, so essentially this just says plant in a container, potted plant. So that's a definition of a bonsai. So remember that. So bonsai is a potted plant. I recently had a question, what do we feed the bonsai? Well, it's kind of complex and simple at the same time. Let me explain. In college, I was working at a retail nursery, right? And occasionally we got questions about what to feed the bonsai. Originally, I didn't have any answers, so I asked the boss. It says, so when they ask for what to feed bonsai, what do I recommend? He says, fish emulsion. Okay, so anytime I got any questions from people, I would say, yes, get this fish emulsion. And then one day I'm looking at the label and I said, hey Dick, this thing has hardly any nutrients. Why do we recommend this? Well, his answer was, it causes no damage. Well, because most people will not read the label. If you give them the proper fertilizer, they could kill it because they don't read the label. But fish emulsion has very little of anything. So actually, you're paying a lot of money for liquid, but it does not do damage. So that's what the standard answer used to be. Okay, I'm going to make a very bold statement. There is no such thing as a bonsai fertilizer. Okay, let's go back to what a bonsai is, right? It's just a potted plant. Most of you that are asking these very simple questions are beginners. So your bonsai is in this category. The one on the left is just a stick, or just when you buy at the nursery, right? And in the middle, if you decide you're going to start shaping, it could be done this way with a wire, or I've shown you in the past, we could use the stick or the string, right? And then over to the right, it's a little bit further along. But these are not what you call real bonsai. Technically, it is because it's a potted plant. So think about bonsai as being a potted plant with an interesting shape. Okay? Potted plant with an interesting shape. Initially, when you're in this category of 1 year to maybe 5 years, you want rapid growth. So you should use fertilizer that is fairly high in nitrogen. Okay, now I've had an occasion to do a presentation to our nursery group. Well, I don't belong to it anymore, but at one point, California Association of Nursery People. Anyway, so I'm giving a lecture to the professional, and one of the questions is, what do we feed the bonsai with? So I said, I explained, what is a bonsai? It's a potted plant, right? So you should know. So the nursery people, okay, they said, so if I asked you, what should I give my potted plant? And they had the answer. So to me, there's a number of different things you could use, but it depends on your locale. So I think the best answer to your question is to go down to your local nursery, the real nursery, not the big box. But ask them, I have a potted, well, in this case, it could be a Japanese maple. I have a Japanese maple in a pot. What should I feed it with? And they will answer you correctly. But if you should say, what should I feed my bonsai? then they freak out because they are just as confused as anybody else. But a bonsai is nothing but a potted plant with an interesting shape. So do not mention bonsai when you talk to your nursery professional. Those first three I consider more of a pre-bonsai. And then now we get into 10 years, 15 years, maybe 20 or plus get to the right? And so a true bonsai beyond the potted plant is the plant has the ability to suggest more than it actually is. So, you've been out in the mountains, you see these trees that impressed you. If you could capture that essence in miniature, that is a great bonsai. But most of you are trying to get to this point, right? 20, 30 years from now is what you see on the right. When you have something in this category, just some maple or seedling that you dug out of the ground or purchased it, and then you're trying to shape it. Okay, I'm going to make another statement that may irritate some people. There is no such thing as a bonsai soil. Once again, there is no such thing as a bonsai soil. Okay, now back to what is a bonsai, especially in the beginning. It's just potted plant and with an interesting shape, right? So down to your nursery, you look for potting soil. Okay, so you got a little plant you're trying to grow, and they have what's called a potting soil. It doesn't say bonsai. It doesn't matter. Because what you're doing is you just potting up a tree or a bush, right? So you buy that and then find out what the professional nurseryman recommends in your locale, because it makes a lot of difference in where you are, okay? So that's what you do. As you get to this more of the refined, mature bonsai, it's totally different. But now that you have spent 20 years on it, you have probably figured out what kind of soil you need in your locale. So my soil is 3 parts compost, 1 part sand, 1 part lava rock. It's not the perfect universal bonsai soil. It works well for us in this hot interior valley. So I don't have a perfect bonsai soil. I just have a bonsai soil that's been working for me for the last 30 years. That's it. But think of these as being the young kids. Oh, I have grandkids, right? 4 to 12. Hey, they could eat anything they want and it doesn't get them all fat. Okay, and this stage right here, remember when we were in college? I remember when I was in college, my buddies and I would hit that buffet and stuff our face till we couldn't move anymore. And that was okay, we burned it off. Now, as you get over here, as you start to get into your 50s and 60s, you don't eat that 2-pound steak anymore, right? So now that I'm at this stage in life, I barely finish a 6-ounce steak. Well, I usually eat the 2-pound steak and then have a big banana split afterwards. Well, no more such a thing. So think about your bonsai the same way.